The days following Zythar's fiery visitation cloaked Vyrn in a restless hush. The village square's cobblestones seeming to hum with the dragon's lingering heat. Kale's forearm bore the mark of flame, a green-edged tattoo that pulsed faintly beneath his skin, a constant reminder of the year ahead and the 5 trials awaiting him in the Emberfall caves. The village felt smaller, its stone walls and thatched roofs pressing in, as if the cliffs themselves watched him. At 13, Kale was no longer just a boy. He was chosen, and the weight of it settled into his bones. At home, the familiar scent of his mother's herb-crusted bread filled the small stone house, a fragile anchor to normalcy. Ember, their scruffy red dog, sprawled at Kale's feet, tail thumping, while Shadow, the cat, lounged on the windowsill, her yellow eyes tracking a moth's dance. Saria stirred a pot of vegetable stew, her movements brisk, but her face taut with unspoken worry. Torin whittled a fishing spear, the scrape of his knife steady, while Kale's 10-year-old sister doodled swirling flames on a scrap of parchment. The mark glowed faintly in the firelight, and Kale tugged his sleeve down, avoiding their eyes.
I'm going to the archives tonight.
Kale said, his voice cutting through the silence, steadier than he felt.
I need to know more about the trials.
Torin's knife paused mid-stroke.
The archives? You've never been one for books, Kale. Hey.
I am now.
Ale replied, meeting his father's gaze.
If I'm to face the dragons, I need answers. The ancient ones, Elara, Torvin, the others, they left something behind. Clues, maybe.
Saria set the ladle down, her hands trembling.
I need to be ready.
Sapphire hugged him. Kale forced a smile, ruffling her hair. After dinner, Kale scrubbed plates with a focus that surprised Saria, stacking them neatly before grabbing his cloak. Ember trailed him to the door, but Torin called the dog back with a low whistle. As Kale crossed the village to the archives, a squat stone building tucked behind the council hall, its walls etched with faded serpent motifs that seemed to writhe in the moonlight. Elder Mara greeted him at the entrance, her gnarled hands clutching a lantern, her sharp eyes glinting with approval.
The marked one seeks wisdom,
she said, a faint smile creasing her lips.
The ancient ones would be pleased. Come.
She led him into a cramped chamber, its air thick with mildew and wax, shelves groaning under leather-bound tomes and crumbling parchments. A single candle flickered on a scarred oak table, casting shadows that danced like specters. Mara gestured to a locked chest in the corner.
The ancient ones, those who survived the trials, left their wisdom for the chosen. Open it if you can.
Kale knelt, his tattoo tingling as he touched the chest. The lock was a puzzle, a grid of sliding tiles carved with symbols, flames, waves, clouds, stones, and shadows. Instinct guided him, slid the tiles, aligning a flame with a serpent's coil, and the lock clicked open. Mara's nod was curt.
You're not hopeless.
Inside the chest lay a collection of sacred artifacts, a charred scroll, a vial of mist-like liquid, a feather that shimmered like starlight, a smooth obsidian pebble, and a black cloth that seemed to swallow light. Tucked among them was a thin stone tablet, its surface etched with 5 riddles in an ancient script, glowing faintly green as Kale's mark pulsed in response. Mara's voice was low.
These artifacts are bound to the dragon's magic, left by champions like Elara and Torvin. They remain here, guarded, for their power is too great to carry lightly. But the tablet's words are yours to take. Read them, Kale, and heed their weight.
Kale lifted the tablet, his fingers tracing the carved words, and read aloud, his voice echoing in the silent room. Kale's breath caught, each riddle a cryptic map to the trials ahead. Zethar, Lyrian, Vera, Korath, Siloon. He glanced at the artifacts, their presence heavy with meaning. The scroll smelled of ash, whispering Zythar's fire. The vial's mist swirled, hinting at Lyrian's domain. The feather quivered, tied to Vera's sky. The pebble was warm, echoing Korath's stone, The cloth seemed to pull at his thoughts, a shadow of Saloon's illusions. But Mara's words held him back. He couldn't take them.
They stay here.
She said, her tone firm.
Their power is for the caves, not the village.
Kale nodded, his fingers lingering on the tablet.
The ancient ones wove their lessons into riddles to light your path. Study it, Kale. It's your first trial.
That night, Kale sat by candlelight in the archives, copying riddles into a leather journal Mara gave him. Become the fire, not its foe. See yourself, yet defy the mirror. Light is within, speed is without. Stillness breaks what force cannot. Purity is the only path. Kale left them untouched, closing the chest with a heavy click. The riddles his only keepsake. He felt the Ancient One's presence in the tablet's words, their voices guiding him toward the cave. Mara's gaze lingered as he tucked the journal into his cloak.
Write what you learn,
She said.
The trials will test more than your body.
At school, Kale's focus sharpened, the riddles fueling his hunger for knowledge. Where he once doodled in Elder Mara's lessons, he now scribbled notes, linking dragon lore to the tablet's clues. Lila noticed, nudging him during a lecture on Vyrn's history.
You're different.
She teased, her braids swinging.
Writing riddles instead of daydreaming.
Kale grinned, showing her the journal sketch of the flame riddle.
They're clues, Lila. The Ancient Ones left them for the trials. I'm trying to figure them out.
Her eyes sparkled, but worry flickered.
Sounds dangerous. Promise you'll tell me what they mean.
Promise.
Kale said, warmth spreading at her concern. He started sharing his lunch with her and others, his quiet confidence drawing younger kids, who pestered him about the mark in the caves. Kale answered patiently, the riddles giving him purpose, their cryptic warnings a puzzle he was determined to solve. By week's end, he was helping clean the chalkboard, earning a rare smile from Mara. At home, Kale threw himself into chores with the same zeal, chopping firewood for Torin and hauling water for Saria's garden. The journal stayed close, its riddles whispering in his dreams. One night, Mara handed him a sealed letter as he left the archives.
Tomorrow, your training begins.
She said,
The council has chosen masters to forge you. Body, mind, spirit. The riddles are your map, but they'll teach you to walk it. The Ancient Ones left more than words, Kale. They left a power, one you'll need to face the dragons. Don't squander it. None.
Kale nodded, the letter heavy in his hand, the journal's riddles echoing in his mind. He stepped into the cold, the cliffs looming under a starlit sky, their jagged mouths calling. The mark pulsed, the Ancient One's words a lifeline for the trials ahead. He was no longer just a boy. He was becoming the chosen, ready to unravel the dragon's secrets.